Hola and welcome to Vida Consciente, the bilingual podcast where we explore mindful living and conscious lifestyles to heal and transform from the inside out in both English and Spanish. I am your host, Alejandra Aguilera, and I want to thank you again for being part of this community. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hola a todos and welcome to another episode of Vida Consciente. My name is Alejandra Aguilera and I want to thank you again for being part of this community and for your support. It matters, and thanks to you, it helped me to continue creating different episodes, and the most important thing is to create a community where we can learn from each other and become more aware and more mindful of our life so we can enjoy and live the life that we all wanted to live by finding our own purpose. Every time that I share in my one of my episodes, I always like to remind you that it's my own experience. What I share with all of you is things that I have been learning through the years, my own journey, the ups and downs, what I learned from others, and all the techniques that I have been implementing and continue implementing in my life that has been helping me and continue helping me to live a more conscious life, a more mindful way, and have a better perception of how things are and see things in a different way, not always in a conflict. So this self-awareness has been the joy of my life because it's helping me to get to know myself better. And I just hope that what I share with you, it can maybe help you to integrating on your own life and transform your life from the inside out. I don't have really nothing prepared for this episode, and I just wanted to talk about this because I think it's really helpful for everyone, and it's one of the things that helped me a lot to get to know myself, to improve my self-awareness and self-discovery, and it's relationships. There is many different type of relationship with friends, with their parents, brothers and sisters, but I want to talk right now because I'm going to share my experience from a relationship with your partner, your boyfriend, husband, your girlfriend, in that way. And how relationships are so important to help us to get to know ourselves better. And how that conflict that most of the time we have with somebody else is just a projection of our own inner conflict. It's just a mirror that we need to learn and stop blaming somebody else. Stop seeing the other person as he have the fault. He's the one who need to change, when it's just a reflection of what we need to improve, a strength and change ourselves. So I'm going to share my story with my last relationship because I want to be honest, it was one of the relationships that I have that truly helped me to understand myself better. And it was a really beautiful but also tough relationship. And it doesn't matter sometimes how long they last. It can last months, years. And even I know people who are in relationships for years and they still don't know each other. But I think it's all depending of the intentions that we have, the levels of self-awareness, and what we want to gain with that relationship. What is that intention, what we want also for ourselves? So last year I have this relationship, and before getting into that a little bit more, I has been in just maybe 3 relationships in my life. I married really young. I married when I was 20 years old, and I was with that person for 8 years, and I have my beautiful son who is now 10. But at that moment, I was a little young. I was not really into self-awareness. I have so many other ideas in my head. And then after that, I have another relationship that I last 2 years, a wonderful relationship too. But I was still not fully into the intention of who I am. Who is I want to know my true identity. I want to know more about what is my mission, my purpose. I was just more enjoying the relationship. Until my third one that was last year, it lasted 6 months. But also it came in a time where, that was in 2023, where I decided to take a class. I was taking this certificate program because the last 3 years of my life, I has been really focused on this awakening process and this spiritual growth where I want to know myself better. What is my purpose? What is my mission? I want to be joyful of what I do. Like, I want to enjoy what I do as a work, my profession. I want to have this life where it's not all about what you have, but what is inside you. So this last 3 years of my life has been really intense in my intention of like self-discovery. And last year I started a certificate program. It's called Bio-Neuroemotion from the University of Spain. And it has been one of the best things that I has integrated in my life, because it changed completely the way that I perceive things around me, the way that I see, the way that I feel, and how I can approach to different opportunities, situations, conflict. And it helped me mainly to connect with my inner child, to heal those trauma from our childhood and understand why we repeat certain patterns in our life, like why certain people continue coming with a certain patterns and why I continue doing the same, why I don't enjoy certain relationship, why we get out and then step out and then no, that's not for me, and we go and move to the next one, and it's like the same and the same. So it helped me a lot to going through all this self-discovery, and it was a really tough year emotionally last year, because it was like when you open a box and a lot of things start coming out. That's how I felt last year, just like a drained emotionally, because I was healing. I was really healing from the inside out and changing and transforming into a new person. So this person, I met this person unexpectedly, because sometimes things happen like that. It's like like when the universe is like okay, you're learning this, now we're gonna see if you're gonna put this into test, like we're gonna test you right now. So it was exactly like that. It was in the specific moment where I was like going through these classes and all this discovery, and I met this person. And before meeting him, I was single for 3 years. So I was with so many emotions, because I was happily single. I enjoyed my single years of being single, that stage of my life where I did so many things, and I traveled, and I did things that I maybe didn't have the time to do before, because I was always with somebody. So I enjoyed that part of my singleness. And sometimes people, they confuse singleness with feeling lonely, and it's completely different. So I think that sometimes when we spend also many, many years single, it can be dangerous, because we get so used to that when we're going to find someone or someone find us and want to establish a relationship with us, it can be a little bit tough, because it's now getting used to be with somebody else. And that was my case. So I was 3 years single. I was in all this process of my life of self-discovery. I met this person last year at the beginning of the year. So I felt emotion like I'm happy. I want to be with someone. But I put like a wall. Like I didn't allow myself to fully open. I immediately told that person as we started dating and say, I don't want a commitment. I don't know. That was my thought. I said to him like, I'm afraid of a commitment. The person said the same to me. But that was like me putting a wall and not allowing me to be honest, like open my heart fully to see how everything is gonna work out. But things start like, working out. We start like going out, dating ourselves, enjoying it that time. And then I realized that I needed to start being more honest with myself. Before being honest with somebody else, I need to start being honest with myself. And that involves being vulnerable, which sometimes is really hard for us to let ourselves to be vulnerable. I want to say especially for me, because I'm talking about what I went through, my own experience. As I spent many years single, as a single mom, raising my child, and I always have this shield that I put myself like I'm a strong woman. Well, I am a strong woman, but I always say I'm a strong woman, I'm independent, I can do this on my own, and I'm here in a different country where my family is away, and I have been raising my child on my own and working and going to school and having 2 jobs. So I became into this superwoman, and that gave me this overwork of like the masculine energy, because that's something else that want to talk in another episode, the difference between the feminine and masculine energy. That is just energy. It's not sex, gender. It's just energy, what I'm talking about. So I became more this masculine energy, and I start forgetting about the other side of me, like a more empath with myself, like I'm more caring even with myself, listening myself more. So it was hard for me to fully open and be vulnerable, because being vulnerable for me at that point was like, it's being weak. It's a sign of like, I don't want to show myself like weak. I don't want to cry. I don't want to say that I like that person, or I want to say that I'm sad. So I was like putting another wall and was not being myself. So as I start like stopping, taking a couple steps back and see this picture and movie from outside, I start doing something that I didn't do in my previous 2 relationships. And that's what I say, that I wasn't enjoying the relationships before, but I was not fully aware. But this one, I was enjoying it at the same time, but I was fully aware. I was more conscious. And with that, it came like a combination of a lot of emotions, a lot of things coming at once. So what I did, and what I say that I'm really grateful and has been one of the best relationships that has taught me a lot about myself, is because for the first time, it allowed me to not only be vulnerable, but also to be honest, to express what I really wanted, to express how I really feel. If I was feeling sad, to say it. If I was feeling angry, to express it. If I wanted to cry, to cry. If I say I'm afraid of taking another step, just to express it. And that was a way to improve even the communication, to talk about our own fears, our own desires, on like the goals, what we're looking for. So that was a way for a good communication between the two of us. And I think that is something that every relationship needs, because they start losing out that communication, because we hide our feelings, we hide what we think, and we just put that inside of, like we repress those emotions. And then it's like, no, I'm okay. No, nothing happened. I'm always okay. Yes, no, I don't want to talk. But we want to talk. But we don't do it because maybe we are afraid that if we say something that it made me feel vulnerable, it's going to create a conflict. So in this relationship, one of the other things that I learned is conflicts are good. Conflicts are not always negative. It's depending how we see it, with the perception how we see it. Because a conflict is something positive, because it's going to show you something about yourself and also about the other person. Because we have this idea of like is the other person who need to change. We playing into the other person because what he's saying is that the problem is on him, it's not on me. But through my classes or what I was learning, I was like I'm not saying that I was always finding a conflict, but I was seeing a conflict as a way to see something beautiful behind that, like learning something. And then after that, we were talking. For example, like when we were having any kind of conflict, when you have a conflict with somebody, when they say, you don't understand me, you don't listen to me, the question need to be, why you don't listen to yourself? Maybe what is something that you're ignoring in yourself, that you projecting that into somebody else. Remember, is the other person is just a mirror that is there showing something that you need to strengthen. Is your own inner conflict. And I also started learning that what we start judging on somebody else is the same judge that is to ourselves. If I was judging something negative on that person, or in a friend, or on someone on my work, or my parents, or my brother, and say, oh my God, but this person always is thinking about himself. He's so selfish. That judge is something that I need to integrate into my life. Maybe I need to start thinking more about my own priorities. I am the one who needs to start thinking about myself before thinking on somebody else's priorities. Maybe when I say, this person doesn't listen to me, maybe I am the one who is not listening to myself. I'm not listening to my own values. I'm not listening to my own desires. So that is the best way when we have relationships, when we have any kind of relationships, is the best way to get to know ourselves. Instead of like avoiding conflict, get into the conflict, but not in a way to fight, in a way to learn, to improve, to strengthen yourself. So even sometimes the relationship doesn't work out, the person who you were with, like I say, boyfriend, husband, friend, any stranger that you have any little conflict, that came specific into your life, not by coincidence, because the coincidence does exist. It came to teach you something. There is they say that like when they say your friends are always going to tell you what you want, but the enemy is going to tell you what you really need. And that's true. It is true, because most of the time, the people that we call the enemy, the people that we have more conflict and we argue the most, those are the ones who are really teaching us what we need to start integrating in our life. What is those maybe behaviors that we have, but we don't bring it out because we feel it's not good to bring it out. For example, if I say to somebody, but this person is always the same. He's so selfish. He never think about himself. He always think about himself. He never think about others. Always is about himself. That's a negative judgment, because it can be negative for somebody else. But maybe I am so pleaser. I'm a pleaser person that I'm always putting somebody else priorities before my priorities. So that person is teaching me what I need, not what I want, because I want to please others, but what I need to start integrating in my life, what I need to start strengthening, that behavior that is inside me, that is part of me, but I don't do it because as a child, as we grow up, they say, you need to think about others. You need to help others. But inside me, I have the behavior like hell, I can be selfish, but selfish in a good way where I'm going to think about myself first before thinking about somebody else. That's why every time that you have a conflict with somebody else or you call somebody an enemy, that person is really teaching you something that is inside you. It's a behavior that is with you, but you need to strengthen it out. You need to bring it out and make it in a healthy way, in a balanced way. And stop like being the person that society make you to believe that you are. So that's why I wanted to share this episode with you, because relationships are so important to improve our self-awareness. But it's the intention that we have. Instead of like we are going into a conflict, we're starting a conflict, instead of like stepping out and say, I know, this person is not for me. All the time we argue, every time we have a conflict, I'm going to leave this relationship. And then we go into the next one, we find somebody else. The same patterns are going to repeat. We're going to repeat the same behavior because we are not being conscious. We are not perceiving. We are not seeing things in a way that is going to teach it, but we are just putting things like as a problem. And then he's the one who needs to change. I am okay. So if you were pretending that it's the other person who's going to change, my friend, you're going to stay living your life, repeating the same patterns all over again. But if you see this, even if it didn't work out, and you say, I'm so grateful because what I have with this person, it helped me to get to know myself. And I know maybe helps the other person, but my intention was I wanted to give my best, enjoy my best, but also learn myself through somebody else. That is just self-awareness. And when you move, if you move because it didn't work out and you find somebody else, believe me, you're going to be more mindful. You're going to see things in a different way. You're going to open yourself to communicate, to be vulnerable without feeling any fear or shame. And you're going to enjoy the relationship from other perception, from other different ways, a healthy way and not a toxic way. So I just wanted to share this really quick because I think we all have conflicts in relationship. With the same, like I say, with brothers, with co-workers, with the boss, with her husband, with her boyfriend's girlfriend. Don't step out of the conflict right away. Take your time to analyze, ask the question, and start asking yourself, what bothered me about this? And instead of asking yourself all the time, why this happened to me, why and why, we need to change that and start asking yourself, what this is teaching me? What can I learn from this? Not the why. So let's start staying where we are, taking responsibility and understanding that if we don't change, nothing around us is going to change. But the moment that we start changing and changing from the inside out, everything around us is going to change. And the change brings a lot of different things. People are going to stay, some people are going to leave, but that's how life works. And if you don't see any change in your life, my friend, your life is not changing and you're not transforming. So it is time to wake up and it's time to take responsibility and to be in that conflict or in that relationship grateful with a better idea, with a better perception, and see what is teaching you and how it's going to help you to improve. So I hope this was something that can help you to integrate something and then putting in practice in your own life. I really appreciate each one of the person that has been coming into my life. Each one of those person has been helping me to learn something else about myself. And I know that it has been helping to learn something about the other person too. So it's like a give and give. But you need to be responsible on your own. You don't need to be responsible or expecting that what you leave or what you say is going to change somebody else. No expectation. Your own expectations need to be you. And that's it. So I thank each one of those person. I really appreciate, and I will always appreciate from my heart everything. And I thank all of you for listening to my stories. I hope is something that, it can help you to integrate it as part of you and continue helping you to transform from the inside out, wake up and live a conscious life. Remember that you can find me on my social medias. I have 2 Instagram, one for the podcast Vida Consciente 3, Vida Consciente 3, and my work, my physical therapy Instagram is My Body Power 3. You can also find me on YouTube, Alejandra Aguilera, Vida Consciente. My email, alejandra.vidaconsciente@gmail.com. All this information is going to be in the description of the podcast. And remember, your support is really important for me. It helped me to continue creating content and also different episodes, and that this can go through all the different places and different people. So please share this, your comment is also really important, because the idea is I want to get to know your own experience. I want to get to know all of you too and create a community, because we need a community being more awake, more mindful. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in another episode of Vida Consciente. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends. I'll see you until next time. Ciao, ciao.